Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@RamsUpPodcast. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined often by my football guru, Ian, along with a bunch of other friends of the show on occasion. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, what's going on? I hope you enjoyed your long weekend. And I'm going to go through the Rams schedule today, game by game, making some predictions and see if it aligns with what I did over the last couple of weeks. In those episodes, I took each group of games against the NFC South, AFC South, NFC West, and so on, and made a prediction, best case, worst case scenario for each group of these games. So I'll see if this lines up with that. Each game, making a prediction, whether it's a win or a loss. Now, before I get into that, it is episode 747 on the podcast, and I'm going to talk about a player who wore number 47. And you know what? There's not a lot of guys that made a name for themselves wearing that number for the Rams, but one guy that definitely did was cornerback Leroy Irvin. He was a third-round pick by the Rams in 1980 out of the University of Kansas, played with the Rams through 1989 and had one final year in the NFL with the Lions. But with the Rams, 34 career interceptions, 5 TDs in 134 games with the Rams, 3-time first-team All-Pro, second-team All-Pro another year, and 2-time Pro Bowler. Also returned 4 punts for TDs, and only Tavon Austin has returned more punts for the Rams, and only Henry Ellard has more punt return yardage. And so Leroy Irvin, and in the 80s, he was recognized as one of the best defensive backs in the National Football League. Great player, and he is our number 47 for our Los Angeles Rams. Now, before I get into this game-by-game results, predictions I'm going to make for the Rams, just to rehash what I came up with in the previous segments. I said the worst case for this team is 9-8. The best case is 14-3. And so you're probably looking at 11-6, 12 or 12-5 if you take the average. And, you know, the one thing that we can't really factor in is the health of this team. If they stay really healthy, you're looking at the high end, right? And if they have any kind of injuries that set them back, you're probably going to get closer to that worst case. But we don't really know what's going to happen with that as far as that goes. So we can only make our best guess, assuming they're going to be relatively healthy and that was my approach. So let's look at the schedule the first 6 weeks of this season. Week 1 against the Texans. They get the Texans at home. And, we're talking about 2 playoff teams here. Rams have gotten off to slow starts in recent years, and I think they're going to be dead set on turning that around. And, Rams have the stronger roster. Don't overlook the Texans. They're not going to be bringing a giant fan base to SoFi, though, so the Rams will have a true home field advantage, and I think they turn it around and get the W at home against the Texans, get off to a little bit quicker start than they have in years past. Week 2, they got to travel to Tennessee. Now, Tennessee has the rookie quarterback Cam Ward. This is a team that historically has played the Rams pretty tough. We have that Super Bowl history with the Titans, right? But, it's good to get Cam Ward early in the year, a rookie trying to sort things out. A Rams defense is going to be chomping at the bit. And I know Ward's going to make some plays with his legs against the Rams, but I think they figure it out. And lo and behold, the Rams are off to a 2-0 start after playing the Texans and the Titans, 2 of the AFC South teams out of the way. Week 3, they have to travel to Philadelphia, and they're going to have revenge on their mind. But let's be reasonable here. The Rams are not going to go 17-0, and this is going to be one of their toughest games, one of their toughest road games. And I think the Eagles squeak out a win here, and the Rams drop to 2-1, I should say. So they're 2-1, trying to keep it real here, right? And then they come back home to play the Colts. And this is another team that you can't overlook. Their quarterback situation is a little unsettled. They have the great Jonathan Taylor, a couple of really good offensive linemen. Rams at home against the Colts. Colts will bring a little bit of a fan base to SoFi, but I think the Rams will have a true home field advantage in this game as well. For how much that matters, I'm not sure. But the Rams improved to 3-1 with a win over the Colts. Now they get the 49ers, and their desperate fan base is going to show up at SoFi en masse. And this is a roster that, they better hit on a bunch of these draft picks or they're going to be in trouble. Christian McCaffrey will assume he's healthy. Brandon Ayuk will assume he's still with the team and healthy. Brock Purdy, it's money time for Purdy. Let's prove it, right? But I think the Rams are the better team, and at home get the win to improve to 4-1. Now the Rams have another one of those tough road games. They travel across the country to play Baltimore. This is en route to London, remember. They have a stopover in Baltimore. Going to be a long road trip, though. And, the Rams have never fared well against quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, have struggled against the Ravens in general, right? And going to be a tough game. At least it won't be bitter cold in Baltimore yet. But I still think the Ravens, they're a top 2 or 3 AFC team, and the Rams take another loss. Again, trying to keep it real here. I'd love to predict 17-0, but come on now. Rams take a loss in Baltimore, and that's a pretty fair guess. That is what is going to happen. Now we move to the weeks 7 through 12. The Rams come home to play the Jags, and they will take care of business against the Jags. I realize, Travis Hunter is going to be electric and is going to present some problems for this Rams defense. Trevor Lawrence still trying to move out of that 3rd or 4th tier of quarterbacks. You got some of the Rams' ex-brain trust there, which could work in their favor against the Rams. But the Rams are not going to take a loss to the Jags. This is in London, by the way. And the Rams, it'd be interesting to see how the fan base works there. I would expect there'd be a slightly more Ram fans there. And I think the NFL does a good job of, spreading out hats for both teams, I think, in games like this. So sometimes it's hard to tell. But nonetheless, the Rams get the win to improve to 5-2. Now they have the bye. So with 2 weeks rest, although they are coming back from London. They get the Saints at home, and I expect the Saints to be, I want to say dreadful, but maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe Tyler Shugg will impress us, surprise us. But this is a team that's, Kellen Moore's the coach there, and I think he's the right choice for that job, but it's going to take some time, right? And the Rams are going to take care of business at home and improve to 6-2. Now the Rams get the rematch with San Francisco in Santa Clara, Week 10.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
At the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, get deals so right, it almost feels wrong. Now's the best time to get that Hyundai you've always wanted. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with America's Best Warranty and 3 years or 36,000 miles of limited complimentary maintenance. Don't think you can get away with all that? Think again. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. It's a great day for a new Hyundai.
This episode is brought to you by PetSmart. Stop by for Yappy Hour with your pet at PetSmart. Save $5 on walk-in grooming services like nail trims, ear cleaning, brushing, and more. No appointment needed every weekday from 2 to 6 p.m. And while you're there, Yappy Hour includes exclusive in-store deals, like 25% off pet toys. Visit services.petsmart.com/grooming to learn more.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. The NBA playoffs are here, and Michelob Ultra is getting you closer to the game than ever with courtside seats and more. Enter now at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access Courtside 2024 to 2025 sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Ends on July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/superior access/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
And, I'd love to see the Rams sweep the 49ers, and I think they're fully capable of it. I think the most likely scenario is these two teams split. Still a lot of talent on the San Francisco team. Is this a game where McCaffrey is hurt by now, or is this a game where McCaffrey was hurt earlier and now he's coming back healthy? Brock Purdy, I think by now we have figured out if that contract made sense. Maybe we won't find out until crunch time, weeks 17, 18, and in the playoffs if the 49ers make the playoffs. But I'm going to say the Rams lose this game. As difficult as it is to say that, the Rams take a loss in Santa Clara and drop to 6-3. Now they get the Seahawks for the first time this year, and one of the more difficult teams to figure out. Their coach, Mike McDonald, is significant changes up there, right? In Washington, really turning over this roster. A lot of familiar faces are gone, and they've added Cooper Kupp and Ernest Jones, two of the leaders in that clubhouse, two players the Rams moved on from. But what does that tell you? That tells you that the Seahawks are trying to figure things out and have some holes in their roster. They draft very well, and I expect this year's 2025 draft, I expect some impact players from that group. But I still think the Rams take the win here to improve to 7-3. Then they get the Bucs at home. Baker Mayfield, Greg Gaines, a reunion of sorts. And this is a Tampa Bay team that's going to be very hungry, fighting with the Falcons for that first place in the NFC South. And I just have a feeling, the Rams have one dud at home every year against teams they should beat. Not that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a pushover. They certainly aren't. But, I'm just going to throw it out there that the Rams have a poor performance and take the loss against Tampa Bay and drop to 7-4. Now we get into that stretch run, weeks 13 through 18. Rams travel to Carolina, and again, another team that's could be, they could be improving. Bryce Young started to show something at the end of last year. Rams take care of business, though, on the road. And then they have the Cardinals on the road. The first time they played the Cardinals this year. And it's a good thing to catch the Cardinals twice at the end of the season here, because that's usually when they start flailing. Not sure if Jonathan Gannon is going to keep his job if the Cardinals miss the playoffs again. I like what he's doing there, really emphasizing building that defense. But I'm not a big fan of Kyler Murray as far as a guy that can carry a team to the promised land. But I think the Rams take a loss against Arizona. We saw it last year. I talked about it in our matchups when I talked about the Rams versus the Cardinals. They thrashed us last year in the opener, and we were very, very lucky to beat them in that second game, if not for Kyler Murray getting rid of that pass to Trey McBride a little bit early, bounces off McBride's helmet, and the Rams, Ahkello Witherspoon grabs the interception. Cardinals would have swept us. So Rams dropped to 8-5. Then they come home to play the Detroit Lions. Man, we've been waiting for this one, haven't we? And this is, two teams that have developed a bit of a rivalry here over the last couple of years, thanks to the trade, thanks to a playoff game, thanks to a Tyler Higbee injury, and thanks to a really hotly contested overtime game last year in the opener. So the Lions come to LA, and we'll see how well our fans treat them, and maybe a little bit of payback time. Payback time in the stands and payback time on the field. The Rams get the win and avenge that loss. And the Lions, this could be a very costly game for them, because that NFC North, man, I think they'll be very fortunate to send two teams to the playoffs this year. They have some really tough matchups, the Lions especially. Lions could end up in second or third place in that division, especially after losing their two coordinators. Cannot underestimate how important that is. Now, week 16, the Rams get their second game with the Seahawks. This is the one in Seattle. Rams play good up there. They really do. Been very successful. And the Seahawks at this point are treading water, trying to stay in the playoff race, chasing a wild card, but the Rams end it for them. The Rams get the win and improve to 10-5. Now we go on the road. By the way, that Seahawks game is Thursday night, so we have a mini bye before traveling to Atlanta to take on Raheem Morris and Michael Penix. Raheem Morris, hopefully they give him a couple more years to get things figured out there. I don't know if it's going to be this year. They could edge the Bucs in the playoffs like everybody predicted last year. Not so sure. I think the Bucs are still the better team. Atlanta really investing in some another team that really invested on the defensive side of the ball in the draft. And this is important for the Rams in two ways. Handing the Falcons a loss improves the position of that draft pick that they got from Atlanta. We'd hope Atlanta is, 5-10 at this point. Not likely. They'll probably be a little bit better than that. But nonetheless, every loss the Falcons get, every result, that every Falcon loss is just going to be really good for the Rams as far as draft positioning. And I think the Rams win this game. I expect it to be a pretty good game, though. It's really hard to say at this point. And by the way, I'm not picking scores, if you haven't noticed. I think it's just kind of ludicrous to try to pick scores for football games, especially this far out. You can kind of predict, I think, if it's going to be a low-scoring game, high-scoring game, blowout, close game, and all that. But predicting scores is kind of nonsense, in my opinion. It's fun, and I'll eventually get around to doing that, but not today. So the Rams are 11-5, and they go into that final game, and this could be a game that decides first place, not necessarily with the Cardinals, who they are hosting at SoFi Week 18, but the 49ers are probably going to have a record similar to the Rams. The their schedule is just so weak. If they just play decent football, they're probably going to get 9 or 10 wins at a minimum. So this will be an important game. Could be the Cardinals that are in the running for a playoff spot as well. But I think the Rams, they lost earlier in Arizona, and Kyler Murray, it's not like he's prime time, clutch time Kyler Murray over the course of his career, and the Rams get the win to finish the year 12-5, which is kind of what I predicted when I did this the other way. And that, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I'm deducing this is good enough for first place. Not so sure, though. This could be, nip and tuck with the 49ers at the top of the division. And, this goes back to that rule change that the Lions were proposing. And one of the reasons I think they backed off, Lions, finish in first place at 11-6, and the 49ers and Rams finish atop the NFC West, both 12-5. The Rams and 49ers would be the 1 and 2 seeds in that situation, discounting how the other teams turned out, NFC East and NFC South. But bottom line here, 12-5, hoping it's good enough for first place. That is my rundown on the Rams schedule, week 1 through week 18, on to the playoffs. Good enough for a home game, hopefully. Champions of the NFC West, that would do it, right? Got to win that tiebreaker. Maybe we'll edge the 49ers based on strength of victory. Wouldn't that be sweet? And the Rams take the number 1 seed in the playoffs potentially. Out here from Rams Up.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.